out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
Welcome to Recordology.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Recordology. Okay, do you have a vested interest in this show? I hope so. I hope you've been engaged. You saw the poll earlier. What brand of something did I buy today for us to review? Was it Sony, Technics, Sharp, Crosley? Okay, the answer is it's a Technics. That's right, my friends. And I've talked for a long time about Technics and the people that can afford a Technics SL 1200 whatever, for $1,000 record player, never thinking I would ever, I've touched them, I've played with them, but I've never thought I would own one, and that's still going to be the case because what I bought was a Technics tape deck. Sorry, it's not clickbait because it was 100% true, 100% true. But I do have my very first piece of Technics kit, and I think this is actually really, really cool. This is the RST-16. I would date this at approximately 88 to 92-ish. Couldn't find a whole lot of information on it out there. It's a pretty basic unit. Let me go ahead and set it down here. We're going to take a look at it. Okay, so there we go. And yeah, it's definitely not super high end. Let me scoot my chair up here. So the way you can tell a higher end deck from a lower end entry level deck is how many decks it has. This is 2 decks, more of a consumer market deal because there was a big need in the consumer audio space for tape decks that could dub tapes. That was a very consumer thing. The more high-end decks only have one tape deck. So this is going to be an entry-level unit. And, it looks... Gosh, if I had 1991 written all over it, if I had to guess. Help me date this thing. Let me know down in the comments below. I haven't turned it on yet. I haven't cleaned it or done anything like that. It doesn't have logic controls. It has mechanical switch buttons. Very, very basic. Metal housing, plastic faceplate. Looking down here, you can see the heads. Everything looks pretty dang clean as far as I can tell. I mean, it definitely looks used, but it is it's pretty good looking, I would say. This is a 2-head system. Most assuredly part of a larger stereo system. And we'll test it out here in a minute. The graphics on it, again, very reminiscent to me of early 90s. I have a tendency to date things newer than they really are. So based on that, I would say it could possibly be a bit older than that, but not by much. I would say 87 at its absolute oldest. Nothing newer than 91 or 2 maybe. But yeah, that would be my guess. This is the first tape deck that I've ever had that actually has the tape type settings for the EQ. It's got a mechanical counter right there. I love it when it says like red indicator. Thank you for identifying. It does have a peak meter on there, a VU meter. It does, some basic editing functions. It's got Dolby. Notice it doesn't say B, C, S or anything like that. That means it's Dolby B. And on the bottom there, Dolby System and record level. And everything seems good. It seems pretty dang clean. I paid $25 for this. I'm going to go wide again. I did pay $25 for this, which is a bit high. In my opinion, I expect it to work pretty dang perfectly for that cost because, a tape deck, unless it's a super high-end one, should cost you 10 to 15, even if it works. Basic in and out control. There's no remote control on this. It's a very, very basic unit. Technics, obviously, is Matsushita, so this is going to be basically Panasonic's higher-end brand. You see on the bottom there. Is that? Yeah, it's metal. It must be packed pretty tight because I tap on it and it doesn't ring like metal. Rubberized feet. Now this is kind of interesting. The plug on this thing. This is not from around here. But I think that it's got the adapter on there. It's kind of cool. I think it's just this cable. I don't think the unit is necessarily an import. At first I was like, oh cool, it's an import. But I don't think that's the case. Okay, let's go ahead and power it on and see if it works. Power it on. Okay, I did see these light up here. Dolby on and off. I do see this light up here for the type of tape that it's selected. It's selected to metal. I did pick up a metal tape too. So, you know, this is the best of the best. If you have a Dolby S deck, like we did last year, we had that Sony Dolby S machine we were working on, and metal tape, you can go to town. I'm going to turn the brightness up a little bit here. And get CD quality fidelity off of magnetic tape. Okay, it's basic. I mean, it plays tapes. Hopefully it plays them well. So let's go ahead and test it out. One of my favorite albums, Jeff Foxworthy, Games Rednecks Play. I have the CD and I've enjoyed it for years, but I picked up the cassette so we could have something to test with. So let's go ahead and do that. I've got this off camera plugged into nothing, so I'm glad I thought of that. But I will have it plugged into, in a second here, the Crosley S100s. Outputs on the right. And there. Okay, cool. That'll probably help us be able to hear it. So, with no further ado, let's see if she works.
Told me the dog did it.
Yeah, it works.
See, that's the kind of stuff that drives you crazy. I mean, we've had that dog.
Okay. No rewind. You know, it's funny. I was just watching another video on YouTube about a Technics deck that was somewhat similar to this, and it had the same issue where it wasn't rewinding. Can we fast forward? We can fast forward. The rewind belt's a separate belt, so we've lost that belt apparently. But no rewind. That's a bummer.
Rule around our place is, if it ain't broke, it ain't ours.
Now the VU meter is that VU meter. If I turn the light down, let me see if you can see it better. Yeah, it's there. It's just it's dim with the light splashing on it.
Everything. My wife has this little statue. It used to be a ballerina. Now.
That's cool. All right, let's turn the light back on. Let's scoot over to this deck now. It's a bummer the rewind doesn't work. I'm always hoping it's just going to be perfect, especially considering I paid full price for it. Let's try another tape now. Listen to a little K-Star. This is a home recorded tape. I made this tape. This is Dolby B, I believe. So we'll flip to Dolby on. First, let's see if it plays. All right. Dolby. Sounds good. See if the rewind works on this one. Yay! The rewind works on one side. And you know what? That's good enough for me. I honestly wouldn't do anything about that. I honestly wouldn't. Yay. I love it. Fast forward. Yay. I mean, if your play works, your fast forward's probably going to work. Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. All right, you guys. Well, there it is. An initial look at the Dolby. No, well, kind of. The Technics RS-T116 entry-level cassette tape deck. And not going to replace my good old Pioneer CTW504R. Boy, that just rolls off the tongue. Hold on a second here, guys. This is driving me nuts. I have to level this. Okay, sorry about that. But it's cool. We'll definitely do some experimenting with this. Again, this is the only deck that I have that has the ability to recognize EQ between different tape types. How do you choose the different tape type? I'm trying to figure that out. See, this says audio. Like, does it just read it back based on what tape is in there? Let's see. Okay, so obviously I got a type 1 cheapo tape in there right now, and it has that selected. I don't know if you can see that, but no, does it? Or does it say type 4? That would explain why it. Yeah, so it goes to tape. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to turn the light down. And then I'm going to pop this guy out. And I'm putting in the metal tape. God help us, I don't know what's recorded on here because I just bought it blank. And you know what it's like when you buy blank tapes at the Goodwill. You don't know what you're going to get. I hit play. And it goes over to type 4. All right. And good news, it's just some music on there. All right.
I heard freight train
Oh, interesting. That sounds like some Randy Travis. Cool. All right, so there you go, guys. So we are definitely going to do a teardown on this in the near future. I want to get inside there and do some minor cleaning up. I'll just clean it, lube it maybe. I'm not going to go crazy about that rewind belt on deck B. To me, that's a total... I'm so used to one-way tape mechanisms anyway. I mean, I flip it and fast forward it. Honestly, I don't even see that as a problem, especially considering tape deck A works perfectly fine. So here I am enjoying in front of my eyes a Technics. It's not a turntable, but it's a tape deck. So interesting. I hope you guys thought this was interesting. I'm looking forward to getting inside it. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. If this video does pretty well and I feel like you guys are interested in that, let me know down below. But if we get good response on this video, I will, maybe we'll do that tomorrow or the next day. Now, the next step for me is taking some of this Crosley Groove Goo and getting it out of the jar. And this is the best thing in the world for getting dust out of little corners and nooks and crannies. And so I'll be giving it the good goo treatment in a minute here, but you don't need to watch me do that. Yeah, so excited to have this. I think it's worth $25. I mean, I don't feel strongly one way or the other on that. Hopefully we get a lot of traction on it out of it on the show, and you guys hopefully enjoy seeing more of it and learning more about it, as will I. I would have liked to have found a single deck higher end unit, but you know, I'm thankful for this. So anyway, let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and we will see you later. Happy record or tape hunting. We'll see you tomorrow.